Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Chow. It is Miss Christina Chow. Today we're going to be making Biang Biang Noodles. Biang Biang Noodles actually comes from the northern province of China, from Xi'an, or Xi'an actually in Cantonese. And it is hand-pulled noodles that are chewy, they are delicious, and biang biang actually refers to the sound it makes when it bangs on the table. And we are going to get to that fun part today. These are so delicious. I love making these at home, and it only involves 4 ingredients to make the noodles, and I promise that you guys have these ingredients in your pantry. So let's get right to it. For the first part of the ingredients, we're going to start with the dough mixture. So we're going to be using 300 grams of flour, 150 grams of warm water, and 3/4 teaspoons of some salt, and about 3 tablespoons of oil. First, what you're going to do is combine your flour into a mixing bowl. A little bit of flour, just going everywhere, that's okay. Add some warm water in. Next, we're going to add that salt. The oil we're going to save until the very end when we're kind of kneading it out and we're rolling it out. Grab a fork, and we're going to start to mix it together. So we just want to mix it together. It's probably going to take about a minute or so. If you don't want to build those strong arms, you can also borrow your handy dandy KitchenAid. I did bring it here just in case. We're going to mix it together. As you can see, it's currently pretty stringy. We're going to keep mixing this, so do not worry. Also, different flours have different moisture content in there. So if you find that your flour is a little bit drier, I would just add probably 1 tablespoon of water at a time until it starts to be a little bit more combined. But have faith, it will come together. When it gets to this point, I kind of like to take my hand, a clean hand, mix it together, and as you can see, it's starting to come together. So I like to actually continue to mix it in with my palm and knead it together. It doesn't have to be super smooth because we're going to let the gluten relax over time. But for the first part of this process, we're going to make sure that it's somewhat together. At this point, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to put it on my cutting board and use my palms, knead it together. As you can see, the dough is actually quite crumbly. It's not the cutest dough ever. There are still pieces around and it's not as smooth, but that's okay because we're actually going to let this rest in a little bit, and then the gluten will start to relax. This is a process called autolyse, and it's actually very popular in bread making, in noodle making, but essentially what it is when flour starts to be combined with water and you let it sit and relax over time, it will increase the elasticity in the dough, and so it's able for you to stretch it out and have some really nice, long, pulled, chewy noodles. Okay, we're gonna let this sit for 2 minutes.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
It's been 2 minutes, which is great. So we've let the dough relax a little bit, and now we're going to work it out. We're going to try to make it a little bit smoother, and you will, honestly, it's very easy to tell, but after even just 2 minutes, the dough has relaxed. It's easier for you to stretch it out, and we're going to knead it ever so slightly for probably 1 to 2 minutes. There's a seam on the bottom. I'm just going to pinch it gently, and I'm going to pull towards me, similar like what they do in sourdough making, and we're going to use a friction to help smoothen out the dough. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to cut it into 8 equal pieces. You're going to grab your bowl, your oil. Oil the bottom of your bowl with 1 tablespoon of oil, and let that oil rotate around. Then what we're going to do is each piece, we're going to roll it into a log. This is going to help us when we are hand pulling out the noodles later, because this is the shape that we want. So we're just going to prep us for that step. Okay, once you've done that, add it in, and generously coat the piece of dough so that it keeps that moisture intact inside there and prevents them from sticking together. Add the oil, an additional 1 to 2 tablespoons. Make sure all of the dough pieces are covered and coated in the oil. Now for the part where we get to take a little break, we're going to let this rest for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to let the gluten rest and to have that elasticity really build so that it can become extra stretchy and chewy for when we are going to pull it.
Approximately 10 hours later.
So we've let the dough rest for 1.5 hours and take a look at how it looks. So it's a little bit more smooth, and even just like slightly stretching it like this, it's so easy to stretch. Look at that. Amazing. Okay, we're gonna get to the really fun part. What you're going to need is a rolling pin, a chopstick, and your piece of dough. And we're going to roll it out evenly. And we're going to try to make it the same length as this chopstick. Okay. Like that. Okay, so more or less it's the same length. We're going to put our chopstick in the middle of the dough, press it down slightly, take this, and then you're going to use your 4 fingers and your thumb on top, and you're going to start to biang it. And as you bang it, you're going to start to slightly stretch the dough. Okay, that's okay. It might rip, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is you're going to split it down the middle. Then what I like to do is and look at that. You have a fully hand-pulled noodle and it is so elastic. Look at that. Oh my goodness. What we're going to do now is continue to hand pull the rest of the noodles, and then we're going to get our pot of water going and we're going to cook the noodle. Now that we've pulled all of our noodles, we're going to add it into our boiling water and we're going to cook it for about 1 minute or 30 seconds until it just floats to the top. This process happens super fast. It's similar to how it would be when you're also cooking fresh pasta as well. So now that it's been a minute, for the last 30 seconds, I'm actually also going to cook some gailan as well. I like to either add in gailan or some sort of broccolini, just to add a little bit of greenness and crispness to the dish. Add that in as well. This is honestly one of my favorite vegetarian dishes ever, but if you'd like, you can also add in meat as well. I know that a couple people add in cumin lamb and it is so, so good. I have tried it with that as well, but this is honestly my personal favorite and something that I can just make quick and easy right at home. Now that our noodles have floated to the top, we're going to take them out, put them into our bowl. Oh my gosh, look at that. It looks beautiful. Our gailan's also done as well. Gailan is Chinese version of broccoli, so it tastes very similar to it. It's very crisp, it's crunchy, and honestly, it's one of my favorite vegetables. So if you guys haven't tried it, I would definitely recommend to pick it up at your local Asian grocery store. Now that we're done our gailan and our noodles, we're going to start on the sauce that goes right on top of it. What we're going to do is we're going to add some shallots. About 1 shallot that has been finely minced, and we're going to add it right on top. 2 cloves of garlic. Add that right on top as well. Later, we're going to layer it with some scallion. But for right now, we're going to add some Sichuan peppercorn, about probably 1/4 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of some salt. And then we're going to take some soy sauce and some black vinegar, and we're going to also put it on top. But before we do that, we're going to add some hot oil. We're going to heat up 3 tablespoons of oil, probably canola oil, something that has a high smoking point, because we want the oil to get extremely hot to help basically dose it over all of our aromatics and then really bring out the flavor of them. Take our hot oil, carefully add that right over. Now that that's done, add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, Take the classic Chinese black vinegar to add more depth into our flavor profile. 1 tablespoon, chopsticks, and we're going to mix it up together. Ooh. Also, what I like to add is some chili flakes, 1/2 teaspoon, and also your choice of your favorite hot sauce. This is some homemade hot chili sauce that I've made at home. If you guys want full recipe details for that, comment that below and we'll show that in the next video. Add a generous amount. If you don't want to use this, my next favorite chili hot sauce is this guy right here. We're gonna mix it up together and oh my gosh, look at how good that looks. The very last part is to add a generous amount of scallions to add more bite and freshness into our dish. And then for my personal favorite, I also like to add some crushed garlic chips as well, because I honestly love garlic chips. And there you have it, an easy hand-pulled Biang Biang noodle right at home. We're gonna do a little taste test. Look at that noodle. Mmm. 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 It's spicy, and you get a nice bite. It's just super flavorful. It's so chewy. This is honestly so delicious and so easy to make. This noodle only involved 4 ingredients. So next time you guys want to do date night or a little, you know, family night at home, or honestly make it for yourself, because why not? Self-love. This is a perfect meal for you. As always, if you guys love this recipe, don't forget to drop a comment below and let us know what you guys think of that. Full details will be below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell because you don't want to miss a beat, because why not? We drop videos every Saturday and we will see you guys next week. Well, ciao for now.